Gentlemen, what is up, my brothers from another mother? In this video, I'm going to share a little story with you first before I give you this experience that I've received recently. I had this car pre-purchase inspected at a dealership, but not a dealership, it's a shop called Europa, and they specialize in BMWs. I always have all of my cars PPI just to make sure they're not crap. And I was standing behind the car looking at the bumper, and it's of course got the Dynon muffler, and it had a big D decal on the bumper just above the muffler. And I'm standing there looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, do I want to keep that? Do I hate it? Because I'm not really a big fan of stickers on my car. And David comes up to me, he's the guy that takes care of the front of the shop, Asian guy, and in a Chinese accent, he says to me, "The bumper has been painted." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't think so, man. The car's pretty clean. I've looked over it. Your guys haven't spotted anything." He goes, "No, trust your eyes." And I looked at it again, and he was right. You know, it's actually unusual for a car with some clicks on it that's a few years old not to have a few scuff marks on the rear bumper, especially just where the lid opens and things can fall onto the paint, as often happens, especially when you have somebody careless that might be driving the car. It does get a little scuffed up sometimes or scratched, and it was completely flawless. It might have been just a touch-up job because of a scuff job or a minor ding or scratch. There was no claims in the car proof, so it didn't worry me. But the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is it's about trusting your senses, about trusting your intuition. You know, if you so choose. The reason why I'm mentioning this, guys, is because like too often in our lives, you know, as men, as business leaders, as, you know, partners, lovers, whatever you want to, you know, classify yourself at this moment, we don't always trust our senses. And that conversation with David was very, very small and brief, but it was a reminder that we have these moments in our lives where our intuition, our senses, whether it's sight, sound, hear, or even gut feeling, picks up on something that might be wrong. You know, I had a very, very good friend of mine. He was telling me this very personal story a few years ago. He had a suspicion his wife was cheating, just out of the blue. It came out of thin air. He had never, for any reason, picked up his wife's phone, and he looked at it and he found the evidence in text messages. You know, the truth has a way of trying to get itself to you. I don't know how else to explain it. You know, I had this lawsuit about 5 or 6 years ago, and my lawyer was talking to me about the truth coming to you. You know, the truth has a way of finding it, or finding you. And he says if you just trust yourself and trust your senses, it will appear. Quite often, guys, I know that, you know, we think that we know it all, and that we don't always trust our intuition, and that we don't always trust those senses. But listen to them. Often they're little voices. They're little quiet voices. You know, I've had them in my life that have spoken to me, and I've ignored them. And you only hear them when they become shouts. When it's so obvious, it's like taking a frying pan to the forehead. You just can't ignore it. At which point, it is usually very, very difficult and costly and damaging to deal with that little voice you could have listened to early on. Pay attention to your intuition, guys. I just want to, you know, send this message out to you as a reminder. It is such an important part of who we are as men, as human beings, to just recognize that we're not dummies. You know, we're not these idiots that just sit around watching sports, playing video games, looking at car videos. We do have intuition, as women have intuition, and I want you to subscribe to it, surrender to it, and listen to it. It might be something going on in your life, in your company, your business. You might be an employee, it might be a relationship. I promise you, just listen very, very closely to things that happen around you, and pay attention to it, and surrender to it, and recognize it, and do something about it. Gentlemen, ladies, my sisters from another mister, if you're watching this as well, I appreciate you checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. If there's somebody that needs to see this video, of course, share it with them. And if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so and hit the subscribe button now. Thanks for checking out the video. Have an amazing day. Peace.